Morning, guys. We're going to do some brakes. 2011 Ford Edge. We're going to start with the rear brakes today. Let's see how that goes. There it is. It's a beaut. Oh yeah. 117,000 miles on it. Back of the Ford Edge. We're going to pull the rear wheel off. Got it jacked up. Got a jack stand underneath it. Put a light under there. See what we can see. Here we go. Okay, here's our brakes that we're going to replace. Certainly are, really, they're not worn down all that bad. They do make some noise because the rotors are kind of bad. I do want to do it. Never have put the rotors on. So let's see what we can do. We're going to find some tools, get set up here, start tearing it down. All right, guys, I'm back. Picked up a couple tools. We got looks to be a 13 millimeter. For the top, see if we can get that guy off. On the bottom, we have a vibration damper on the end of the caliper mounting bolt. So we're going to pull that off first. I did order new ones. They really don't look that bad on there, but I ordered a couple new ones. They really weren't that much. Let's see if we can get that to come off. This will fit. They have this place for Torx right in the very end. Set that in there. Spin it off. There's a stud that goes on the inside that they spin onto. This is going to go onto there. And then that will be inside holding our caliper on into the tank. And we'll see if we can break this guy free. Oh, we left one on. Let's go after that bottom one. One more part. There's our old stuff. We're going to replace that. Get this one up out of the way. Not sure what'll hang on. But I don't want it to hang on that. Oops. Well. Yeah. It's not too bad. That's out. They really don't look that bad. We put new ones in. We ordered a set. Take a peek at what I got. One side's worn down. And we're going to have to break this caliper mounting bracket free. What do we got? 17, 15. It's 15. I don't know if I'm going to get that though. The small finger bar. Got it. The bottom. Didn't expect that. Jeez. Caliper mounting brackets off. We want to check these pins and make sure they move. We are very fortunate they do. We will take them out and clean them. They're moving nicely and freely. We will clean this up also before it goes back on. Got to move our rotor. Rotor had a Torx in here. Broke it free earlier. Was not this loose. Was not an easy thing to break free, but I got it. Did not have the right size Torx for my socket. So I had to go get my the Husky. Clean that surface up also. We're going to inspect a few things. We just got to compress that caliper, piston into the caliper. We're going to turn that. I have a kit for that. We're going to try to get that all set up for you. All right, not so sure you can see me, but we're going to take a look at what we got. We got to get this piston to go in. I place a hose on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the bleeder. I'm not a big fan of pushing it all back to the master cylinder and back through the cylinder. Through the brake system. I like to get rid of the fluid, take it out of there. It's old anyways. So what you got on here, here's our old pad and a new pad. Really not that bad. I still had some time left on it. I did opt for a better pad. I remember I replaced these one time, and when I did, I replaced them with probably the cheapest pad I could get, and I paid for it. Every time I back up, they squeak, so I spent a little bit more money. I did get a ceramic pad this time, and I'm hoping that I can get a little bit nicer service out of it without all the noise. So there's a pin on the back of this, and the idea is that pin locks into the piston that's in the caliper. There's a little groove here for it. And that has to line up when this all goes back together. So when we spin that piston, and we have to end up with those little spots that are indentations for this pad to fit in, so that pin actually ends up in one of those grooves on this bottom side when it all goes back together. So we have to take a tool, we're going to actually spin this and spin it into the caliper as it's compressing it. Sometimes the rate is a little bit off and you got to kind of like feel that it doesn't feel right. You back off a hair if you have to, but we're going to give it a shot. This is a tool by Lyle. I ended up having to buy these because at work, I have 3 sets of these at work, and I went to do this brake job and we are locked out of work right now. So, and this is what they are. They come up with a bunch of little adapters. You can change it for the size of your piston. I found the one that applies to what we're going to do, and as we spin that piston in, it's going to slowly start compressing it. So that's the idea behind that. As we spin it, it's going to compress it at the same time. I like to put things back together because I don't have another set of hands here, so I can keep the caliper in the upright position. I got something holding it. See if we can place this in here. We're going to line it up, see what we got. There's all kinds of other adapters, by the way. It's a nice little kit. Okay. see what we can do. Come on, baby. Bring that out till we get a little bit of pressure on there. Make sure they're locked into the holes. They're looking pretty good. I'm gonna break this free. Hopefully we'll get some of that old brake fluid out of there. Should be enough. Wrench on one end to hold this. And say a prayer, right? There we go. Not looking bad. Gotta watch my ratio here though. Whoop. It's gotta come out more. Am I going the wrong way here? Stay with it. Now it's gotta come back this way. It looks somewhat centered. Let's give her another try. What's happening is I'm finding that as I'm spinning it, I got to get a little bit more with the wrench because it's not going in quite fast enough. But it's working. Whoa. Hang on, baby. Come back. Not the smoothest operation here today, are we? There we go. Centered up a little bit better. And we'll give it a little bit more. I think that we're going to be there. Ooh, should probably not have gone so far, but we're going to give her a shot right about there. I think I'm straight up and down. Came back a hair. Don't usually like to do that. But we'll see what we end up with. I'm going to close my bleeder, and if you look in there, there's no air. So we shouldn't have an issue with air getting into the system. So I'll close that back up. I ended up getting rid of all of the old fluid so that none of that goes back in through the system. And we'll try to minimize our mess here. See if we can get our tool out of there. Looking good. We're definitely all the way in. So now what I'm going to proceed to do is I'll take this apart. I'm going to try to clean everything up. Clean up our mounting surfaces here. Get our new rotor, put that on, get the pads, and we'll start putting this thing back together. But I'm going to sand, wire brush, clean everything. We'll take a peek at it when I'm done. Okay, I'm just popping off the anti-rattle clips. I'm going to pop them off. 4 of them here. I'm actually going to have to reuse those. I didn't order them. I thought they were going to come with the pads. A lot of times they do. I'm going to clean these areas in here on both sides. I'm going to take these out. The rubber boot should stay or come with me. There we go. I got that out. Okay, it's our pin. We're going to clean that up. We're going to re-lubricate that. Don't fall on me. Stay. And the same thing with this one. We're take them both out. Clean them up. They are interchangeable, so I should be okay on this one. Sometimes they're not, so we're going to clean all that up, put some new lube on them. Clean all our surfaces. or at work, we'd cover all these holes up, and this thing would go right in the glass bead machine, and it'd come out looking like brand new where these things are mounted. It's a matter of just all by hand. We're going to be scrubbing this, so everything's got to get clean before we can start. So a couple more minutes here, prepping, and we'll be ready to go. Get that right on that step in the front. This I will lube a little bit. That's where our pads have to ride along in there. Slide pins back in until it snaps over. Another one in. Snaps over. Around there, nice. Rotor going on. I do save the bolt. Kind of helps putting everything back together. Did clean it off. Had a little cosmoline on it. Let it dry. It's going to go back on. I will put the bolt back on. And I can't torque it because I do not have the right one here to do that. Sacrifice a couple threads. Nice to see another day. Go with our caliper mounting bracket. When I put the bracket on, I like to use some Loctite. Get that ready to go. Whoops. Well, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. See how good I can be. Not making too much of a mess. A little bit goes a long way. Man. Wrap that around here. We'll get them both with that. That should be more than enough for what we're doing here. Like that on the caliper mounting brackets. Some people call it a bridge bolts. My torque on that, got our specs out. We're going in the back side of that. They should be 66 foot-pounds. We have our wrench set. So let's see what we can get here. Put this guy on. Where the power tools are nice. Speed it up a little. We'll get it. All right. Torque wrench going here. Okay, snug them both up, then we'll go for that. Oh, baby. Oh, it's tough on the old man's knees. Okay, we're good there. Let's see if our pad fits in. Almost looks like my piston could be turned back to where I had it. All right, I wonder if I can do that quickly. A little bit more of a turn on that. Get that lined up better. Come on, baby. we got? What do we got? Anything? No, I just want to put anything on there. Let's see what I ended up with. That's better. All right, so we can slide our pads in. Pin, right? Got a little bit of lube down in there. We should be okay with what I got. I'm gonna put that in here. One. And we had another one around here. Two. See if we can get our caliper back on. Everything seems to be fitting. If I have to, I might have to hold that in place so that it doesn't spin. It's normally not an issue, but we'll see. And what do I got for specs? That is looking for 19 foot-pounds. Bring this guy back down. All right, here we go. Shouldn't be too hard. Okay, there's that and that. We're gonna put our damper back on. I don't think there's a torque for that. I really don't. 124 inch-pounds. That's like 10 foot-pounds. 11, 12 foot-pounds. All right. I think I can figure that one out. That one already had a little Loctite put right on it. Can it? Waiting for a click there, it's gonna break. And there's our vibration damper. And I'm gonna quickly go in. We're gonna hit the brake a couple times, see if that piston comes out. See if it releases. Try a parking brake. What do we got? Feels like we got a pedal. Looks like it came out. See what we got there. Looks like it's holding. Oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. And we released. Yippee! We need a tire. Let's see if I can get that on without knocking the camera over, guys. See how fast we can get this done. Hey. The torque on these are 100 foot-pounds. Come on, baby. Holy cow. Start these by hand first, please, always. Love it when my vehicle just randomly beeps. Probably that Ford door handle that I gotta latch, I gotta get replaced. Plug in our electric guy. Just a quick zip. Maybe out of here. There you go. We can get 100. See how good our parking brake's holding. What do I have it at? Not 100, that's for sure. Okay, 100. Go around a little bit first. Start pattern 3, 4, and 5. We'll go for a click. Alright, I don't like my circle. Sorry. Gotta do it. All right, not too bad. Got the wheel all torqued up. It's on there. We're gonna let it down. Do the other side. See you on the next video. Okay, we're gonna try the other side. Turn the car around. We're on the back side of the car now still. Actually, back side of the garage. But we're gonna give this a rip. Let's see if we can get through this side fairly quickly. Coming your way. Woo. vibration damper off. Not the same wear as the other side. Really not in that bad a shape. My only complaint was when I turned the rotors last time, I put a very inexpensive pad on and we're very close to our specs on the rotor. So instead of trying to turn it again, I just decided it's time. A little more than 20. Not bad. They really are not bad. This car really has been amazing. To buy it again, I'd like something a little bigger. Neither one of those are froze up either. Okay, so let's see. That's supposed to only have 66 caliper mounting brackets. We will see. Yeah, probably. Oh, I'm all baby. For some reason, it feels like somebody put some Ogadogas on there instead of torque. Okay, caliper mounting bracket off. So we can take the screw out that's securing our rotor in place. Well, not bad either. Getting lucky today. These are coming off because we did, clean all this up when I had it off the last time. and a little bit of never sees didn't hurt on the back of some of this stuff, so that it'll come back off. This is our rotor off, so like the other side, we're going to pop these anti-rattle clips out. And we're going to clean those. We're also going to clean on here. So we're going to clean these. We're going to clean this area in here really well. Clean all the mounting areas, scrape them down. Same thing on this side. We've got 2 on each side. These anti-rattle clips, they did not come with it, so I'm going to reuse them. They're going to be okay though. So we're going to clean all that. We're also going to take our pins out. We will clean those, reapply some grease to those before they go back in. Clean our area here. Then we'll come back after we get all that cleaned up, ready to go. We're going to compress that piston, and we'll take it from there. Really in pretty good shape. All right, so we'll put our pins in, our clips in. Let's see what we can do on our bracket here. I have lubed these guys up, cleaned it up a little bit, pop them back in place. They do move nicely. Same thing here. They do move nicely, everything is free. I'm just gonna put a little bit down here to protect that more than anything. We don't want it to be built up because then the clearance wouldn't be right for the pad on both sides. Get our clips back in. Whoopsie. And what I'm looking for is there's like a little step to it. The step goes to the outside. So not on the inside here, it's got to be on the outside of it. So there are right and lefts to this. Okay, we'll leave that up a little bit. All right, I like to press this back in again with a hose on it and a bottle, and I try to get my brake fluid to go in a bottle and not all over the place when I'm doing this at home. Don't want to track it in the house. My Dukes don't like that. And I don't like to push it back. Let me get our tools set up here. Let's see. See if I can get a little better angle on it this time. The other time I'm not so good. Took it off a little bit. Free without breaking it. Whoa. Man. going to spin that in. We saw that on the other side. See him starting to get the fluid out. Whoops, and it's getting on the floor. Back in there. And slide it off again. I don't know what that's all about. Back in there. Actually going in nicely. Come around all the way. Now we're going to come back just a little bit. Should be it. Foot is there. Close that off. Okay. Amen. All right. Get this out of the way. All right, see if we can get our rotor on. Oh, so shiny. Mounting bracket. Again, we're going to use a little bit of Loctite. A little crazy there. It's kind of expensive to make that mistake. Trying to hurry a little too much. One there, so I don't waste it. Set that one aside. That, and in there. I guess we got to use it. Bracket 15. Said our torque was going to be 66. I'm going to leave it. Yeah, because I'm down. 60, 50, 60. 65, 66. Slow that up a little. Down here. Say not to, but I do. Okay. Back that down to 20. There are other bolts. One more pin. It's going to hit 19 foot-pounds. We'll call them at 20. Okay, that's our pin. Our piston's going to go in there. That notch right in that piston, just like the other side. Put them on. So break-in on this is 30, 30, 30 is what they say. 30 stops. 30 minutes from 30 miles an hour. Everything should fit. Good. Top bolt started. And our new one. Wrong size? Did I do? Uh-oh, gotta go find the right size. Sorry, folks. Oh, there it is. Got it. Give me a little business here. Gonna make me hold that. So, is it going to fight me also? No. Nice. All right. Go for a 20. We'll do that on top. Grab our vibration damper. Put that in. Put the cap over the end. Go over pump the brake a couple times. I'm going to set that parking brake and use it to hold the tire. See if it works. Looks like we're there. Everything's tightened up. Got our tire on. Torque it up, see what we got. Okay, 100 foot-pounds. What do we got? Oh, we are there. That's where our parking brake's gonna hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Okay, that's it. We let her down, take it for a ride, see how it feels. 30, 30, 30. Rears are done. Not bad. But I forgot. So if we had to top it off, got 3 or 4 to go on this guy. And the issue here is though, see our max line is here and the minimum line is way down there and really not that low. So I'm gonna leave it alone until we do our fronts. All right.